This is a full story. Shortstory wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. The night I lost consciousness from a high fever. My girlfriend Haley left me at home to go find her ex-boyfriend. When I woke up in the hospital the next morning, I had lost my memory because of the fever, but I remembered everyone around me except for my girlfriend Haley. At night when I realized I had a fever, Haley had already left. She told me she had to work overtime urgently, but she didn't know I heard her talking to Tony on the phone. Outside the quiet bathroom, I stood in the corner listening to the faint sound of a man's voice on the phone. "Ran, I'm sick, my stomach hurts, can you come and keep me company?" Then I heard Haley remain silent for a while. She finally said, "Wait for me." I stood in the corridor looking at the incandescent light on the floor. The white light on the floor. I didn't say anything until Haley was on her way out the door. I almost begged, "I think I have a fever, I don't feel well. Can you stay home with me? I really don't feel well." Yesterday I was soaking wet in a rainstorm to deliver an umbrella to Haley. I got soaked in the rain. I feel like my breath is burning. I have no energy at all. But Haley didn't even look back. She put her shoes on and told me that I was busy, you should get some rest. Then she slammed the door behind her and left without looking back. I was home alone, burning up. I called Haley several times, but no one answered. Finally, I gritted my teeth and called my friend Jack. Before he could get here, I blacked out. I lost all consciousness. When I woke up, everything had changed. Jack saw me open my eyes. His eyes were red, and he was cursing Haley, the scum of the earth. Her boyfriend was burned to a crisp, but he still goes to hang out with other women. "Rocky, if you don't break up with Haley this time, I'll strangle you right now so that you don't piss me off." He looked at me angrily. I froze for a second, confused. "Who's Haley?" Jack's face went blank for a moment, then he looked terrified. "You're kidding," he said, nervously gripping my shoulder. "Rocky doesn't joke about that kind of stuff anymore." I tried to remember, but I couldn't recall any memory of the name. I shook my head in disbelief. I wasn't kidding. "Who's Haley?" Jack's legs gave out. He braced himself on the corner of the bed and looked at me and screamed, "Doctor," in horror. "Doctor, his brain is fried." After the CT scan, I sat on the bed with the report and ate fruit. Jack was looking up and down in disbelief. "Damn, you're really good. I thought you'd forgotten your mom and dad, but not Haley. But you remembered everyone except for him." I'm frowning at that. "Haley's with me now, and she's having an affair with her ex-boyfriend." My brain. Jack laughed and said, "It was just water. It's probably just water. I can't get it back. It's good to get rid of this scum this time so that this pair of dogs cheating on the dog couple shall not be able to die." I nodded. "Feel free to do so." As soon as I said that, the door of the hospital room was pushed open. A woman in a red dress and high heels was full of anxiety. The moment she saw me, her face changed. She came towards me with big strides. Haley said to me, "Rocky, are you okay?" I looked up at her. I didn't recognize her. She was pretty though. She's my type too. So this is the Haley Jack was talking about. The one I've been her lapdog for 2 years. She's with me now, and she's still obsessed with her ex. And left me with a fever, and left me home alone with a fever. In Jack's mouth, I barely heard a good word about Haley. It's been all about how she's trampled on me from start to finish. And how she'd take me at her back and call when I come and go. Honey's been my best friend since middle school. She wouldn't lie to me. I'm looking at Haley with a little bit of disgust in my eyes. I mean, seriously, that dog licking thing that Honey said, I'm sick of hearing it myself. I don't understand. How could I possibly be what I am? A lickspittle who deserves to die. To lick a woman who's obsessed with her ex. I licked a woman who's still in love with her ex. All these years of hard work and never once mentioned breaking up. How can I be like this? Even if this woman looks like my aesthetic, I shouldn't be like this. Haley saw the look in my eyes. She froze. She stopped dead in her tracks. A moment later, she came over to me. She looked at me with pain and guilt in her eyes. "Rocky, I'm sorry. I really didn't know you were so sick yesterday." Jack was holding his arms and didn't say anything. He looked at us like we were in a good show. I frowned, thinking about this woman just got out of her ex's bed, and now she's trying to care about me. I can't help but feel sick inside. I dodged her outstretched hand. I said, "Who are you?" Haley seemed startled by the look in my eyes. She paused. "I know you're mad at me. It's my fault this time. I won't do it again, honey. I really didn't do anything. Tony's young and strong. He won't be sick anymore. You're finally home." Haley's expression flickered with panic. She took my hand in hers, explained that there was nothing between her and Tony. "It's just that Tony wasn't feeling well yesterday. He doesn't have any friends or relatives here. That's why he came to me. Nothing happened between me and him, Rocky, believe me." I pulled out my hand with all my might. I wiped my hand. I wiped it on the sheets. Haley in a hushed voice, "I had a fever last night, didn't I? I had a fever last night. I lost my memory. I don't remember you. Show some respect." Haley didn't believe I had amnesia. At first she thought I was angry. She lied to me for a long time with her nice sweet voice. until I got tired of telling her to get lost. When I got tired of telling her to get lost, she looked at me. She couldn't keep her expression on her face. You told me to get lost, Rocky. You really don't remember me. When those words came out of my mouth, she seemed shocked. It seemed like I'd never said that to her before. Maybe my attitude was too cold. Haley finally had to accept this reality. She was sitting on the sidelines in a state of dismay. She looked sad. How could you forget about me? It's impossible. Jack couldn't stand her. He mocked her and said, maybe God can't stand it. Haley, you're not even human. When I went up there last night, Rocky was burning up. If I'd been there any longer, he'd have burned himself out. Where were you then? At your ex-boyfriend's house taking care of Tony. Go to bed. I suggest you get the hell out of here. Don't be a pain in the ass. Haley bowed her head, said in pain, Rocky, I'm so sorry. I really didn't know you were that sick. I looked at her coldly and said, after I really lost my memory, I can't imagine why I loved her so much before. Lost my dignity, lost my ego just to stay with this woman, and she left me when I was very sick. Because her ex-boyfriend said something about a stomach ache. Haley seemed to be stung by the look in my eyes. She avoided my gaze and covered her face in embarrassment. But I didn't feel anything in my heart anymore. I calmly said to her, since I don't remember you anymore, you only have your ex in your heart. Then let's just get along. My words were like a blow to the head. Haley looked up sharply. Her expression changed. Drastic ally. She looked like she'd eaten a dead fly. And without thinking, she said no, and I said angrily, don't you like your ex, Tony? I heard that several times before you and I broke up. I didn't agree. Now I'm letting you two go. You're free. Haley's expression wasn't one of relief and happiness that her wish had come true. There was a deep pain in her eyes, as if she didn't leave me for her ex. It's as if I abandoned her. Rocky, how can you say that there's nothing between me and Tony? I'm her. She doesn't seem to be able to explain herself. She hung her head in shame. Her face was pale. I think it's a bit outrageous. She's the one who was cheating on me with her ex-boyfriend. She's the one who's in love with her ex-boyfriend in front of me. And now she's giving me some kind of love scene. Haley walked up to me as if she'd suffered some kind of shock. She wanted to hold my hand, but she didn't dare. She could only stand by my hospital bed and pleaded to stop talking about breaking up. Rocky, the doctor said your memory loss may come back after this. I've gone too far this time. Give me a chance to make it up to you. Let's have a good time. Don't you want to go abroad? Once you're better, I'll take a vacation right away. Let's go for a month, okay? I looked at this woman with a contrite face. I wondered why you were like that. Isn't Tony the one you like? Haley was stunned, seems to be puzzled by my question. I continued, if you don't like him, then why did you leave me when you were with me? When you were with me and you left me for him because he said so. If you liked him, why are you acting like this now? I frowned. Haley, what do you want? Haley looked at me blankly. Her lips moved, but no words came out, as if she didn't know what she wanted. I'm sick of seeing her like this. The me in Jack's mouth, I'm so infatuated that I can't even imagine. But the love that was so desperate. Just a small fever, it was vaporized. Now looking at this so-called woman I loved for 2 years, I don't have a single feeling left. All that's left is subconscious disgust. I'm not negotiating with you officially. I'm informing you I have no feelings for you at all. You're responsible for what I've become. How can I continue to be with you? I don't know why, looking at Haley's pained expression, I felt a subconscious pleasure. I felt an indescribable pleasure. As if the memories of this woman had vanished. But the hurt she left me is engraved in my bones, has never healed. I opened my mouth almost with malice. Haley, you're making me sick. Haley's appearance, she looked like she'd been force-fed a pound of me. Yet she looked at me in disbelief, as if what I just said was not a word. I just stabbed her through the heart with a knife. I saw her face turn pale for a second, but I didn't feel anything in my heart. In Jack's mouth, this is aced mosquito bite. A mosquito bite hurts me to death. I would bring her an umbrella in the rain. I'll stay up all night to take care of her when she's on her period. I'll stay up all night to take care of her. I'll make her brown sugar and ginger water. I'll chase her all the way to the city where she has no family. I suddenly felt love is really a tough and fragile thing. When love is alive, no matter how much it's been battered and bruised, it can't be weakened. But just one high fever, that love will disappear without a trace. The woman in front of me, her face is so hard, and I didn't feel a single ounce of pain. I didn't even look at Haley. I rolled over and went asleep. During the days of observation at the hospital, Haley practically lived here. She took some time off. She stayed up all night with me. I didn't even talk to her. When I got out of the hospital, I went straight to our place. I moved all my stuff out and rented a place of my own. When I left, Haley didn't stop me. She just stared at me from behind with a sad look in her eyes. Will you come back? She asked me, and I gave her a blank look. I just got in my car and left. Through the rear-view mirror, I saw her standing on the side of the road looking in the direction of the car. I became curious about our relationship. I wanted to know what made me so obsessed with this woman. I was so obsessed with this woman. Why did our relationship and why it became so complicated? It's a good thing I keep a diary. Although my memories of Haley have disappeared, but in the past 2 years I've left behind several thick journals. I lay in bed at night, I look through my diary. It's easy to find records about Haley. Because in these journals most of them are about her. May 18th, I saw a girl in the playground. She's very pretty, she's my type. May 19th, I met her again today in front of the library. I wanted to go in, she was coming out, I just passed by her. But the moment I saw her up close, I felt even more beautiful. She had stars in her eyes. May 20th, that girl came to the library again yesterday. She asked me to borrow a pen. I feel like when I talked to her, I was so nervous that I couldn't even open my mouth. Oh no, it's the feeling of a heartbeat. Page after page, it's all about what happened when I was young. It turns out Haley only borrowed a pin from me and she went straight into my heart. Not a single piece was left. After that, my diary was all about Haley. She went to the library a lot. The books she read were very advanced. Some of them were even in foreign languages. I couldn't even read them. To get close to her, I even learned a foreign language on my own. I couldn't speak to her very well. Haley was always a little standoffish. She never talked to me. But I was happy to keep going to her. She didn't seem to be in a good mood for a while, even frowned when she was reading. She seemed a little depressed. I was always trying to find things to say to her, telling her jokes that weren't funny at all. I was rejected several times. I kept inviting her out to dinner. It took months. She only smiled at me when I made excuses to go out with her. She smiled at me helplessly. That was the first time she smiled at me. And the first time she agreed to go out with me that day was the beginning of our relationship. I looked at the pages of my diary. The contents were all unfamiliar. But the emotions were all familiar. When Haley rejected me, I felt bad. When she said yes, I was so happy. Even her handwriting was soaring with excitement. That kind of seriousness. Day after day, I wrote it down on paper. Through the slightly yellowed pages, I can even see myself with a childish face, frowning and grinning at my desk, drawing everything about Haley with one stroke of the pen. Actually, the first year with Haley was pretty fun. She was always quiet, though she never said she liked me. But she still took care of me in life. She'd go halfway across the city to get me a late-night snack at a certain restaurant. She'd walk halfway across the city to get it for me. And when we were walking together and got tired, she would ask me to carry her on my back. When we went home in the dead of winter, I'd put my arms around her. I'd cover her cold hands and feet until she fell asleep. At that time, my diary was full of sweetness. Happiness almost spilled out from the lines. I had found the one I loved. I also thought that even though she never said it, but there were so many guys who liked her, why did she choose me? She never broke up with me. I sat on my bed. I looked over every word. It was the happiest I'd been in 2 years. And then Tony came back and everything was upside down. I didn't really care about Tony at first. He was Haley's ex of a year. I didn't think anything of him, and Haley didn't hide it from me. When Tony came back to China, Tony took me to dinner with him when he came back to the States. I always thought they were just exes who got over each other. They shouldn't be in each other's lives anymore. Haley's only love now is me. But ever since then, Haley's attitude toward me changed. She stopped traveling halfway across the city. She stopped traveling halfway across the city. She stopped asking me to carry her. And won't go for walks with me. Every time I tried to hug her from behind, she would break away from me. She'd say, "It's hot, don't sleep next to me overnight." The love of my life changed completely. Her love for me was like a fleeting cloud. It soon faded away. Haley began to contact Tony more and more often. Many times I woke up in the middle of the night. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and realized no one was there. And Haley would lock herself on the balcony and sit there staring Angie blankly at the cell phone in her hand. I was right next to her, but her face looked so forlorn. That's when I knew the person in her heart wasn't me all along. I was so naive at that time. I always thought as long as I could stay with her, she would always realize her own feelings. But the truth was far more cruel than I imagined. I woke up one night, I realized that Haley wasn't there again. I was on my way out to find Tony. But then I heard a low muffled argument from the balcony, a low muffled argument. I've been with Haley for over 2 years. She's always been very reserved. I sometimes even get the feeling because she doesn't care about anything, so nothing could make her emotional. Even when we fought, she just stood by and watched. I'm angry with myself. She never fights with me. She wouldn't coax me. In the end, I'm the one who gets angry. I'd come back with my head in the sand. I'd go to her and she wouldn't argue with me anymore. This is the first time I've seen her so out of control. I hid in the corner. I watched her. You left me here like a dog, and now you come looking for me like I'm nothing. Tony, do you know what I went through during that time? Do you what? Tony said, over there. Haley wiped the tears from her face tiredly. Yeah, I stayed with Rocky just to piss you off, so what? You don't even want me anymore. There's tons of other people who want to be with me. I stood in the corner, my mind went blank. Those words were like a sword. It cut me through the heart and pinned me to the spot. That's when I realized the love I thought I had for the past year was nothing more than a gamble. Hay was mad at Tony for leaving the country so easily, so she found me to piss him off. No wonder so many people were after Haley. She chose me. It's not that she chose me, it's just that I chased her the hardest and she needed a tool. And Tony's boyishness, and that's why she chose me. It's not that she chose me, it's about the guy, not Tony. Any man will do. And all these years of so-called sweetness and happiness, my sincere love, turned out to be just a phrase in her heart to catch up. I'm cowering in the corner, my mind is a mess. When it gets really hard, I become numb. The pain that clutches your heart, the churning of the internal organs, it all calms down. I'm just tired of just standing like this. It took all my strength. I'm even taking time out of my muddled brain to think. Haley was right. Over the years, I've been the one who's been trying to catch up with her. She's never responded to me. I thought she didn't say love because she was shy. Turns out she really didn't. She loved someone else from the beginning to the end. I forget how I got back to bed that day. That night, Haley didn't even go back to bed. There were two of us, one on the balcony, one in the bedroom, both staying up all night for the one we loved. And yet, when I saw her again in the morning, I managed to pull out a smile. I calmly asked her what she wanted to eat in the morning. I'll make it for you, okay? Now that I think about it, I can't even understand why I was so humble at that time. I was obviously a very proud person, but later I realized because at that time I loved Haley too much. I knew that once I opened my mouth, I was giving Haley a legitimate reason to break up her, and I couldn't lose her. I couldn't handle it. And so I had to sew up my broken chest and bleed inside. Breaking up with Haley was a kind of fulfillment, but for me at the time it was like an execution. From that moment on, the relationship became a torture. Haley and Tony, they're both such proud people in love with each other, but neither of them would bow down first. This tug of war went on forever, and I was the only one who got hurt. I've been bled to death. If the last two diaries were all bright and happy, then this one is all dark pain. I used to be alone in a corner. My heart was broken beyond recognition, but I still held on to Haley and wouldn't let go. Drinking hemlock to quench my thirst. Haley to me is a bottle of poison. I put down my diary. I don't remember any of the stories in the diary, and the feelings are long gone. It didn't seem to be my story, it's the story of a stranger. As I read it, I felt pity and ridicule, but I couldn't relate to it at all. It was so stupid. I slapped my face. I slapped myself in the face for being so stupid and humiliated. This emotion made me hate Haley. When I saw her, when I see Haley, I can't help but hate her. Because when I see her, I think of her. I still have my days as a lowly dog. And this woman is the one who trampled on my dignity. She's really turned me into a dog that comes when she wants me to. I look at Haley's pale face and thought, what the hell is this? It's been more than half a month since Haley's last visit. It's been over half a month since Haley last came to me. When I saw her again, she was much more haggard. She was exhausted. She looked at me with bloodshot eyes. I don't know if it's just me, I actually saw a hint of pleading. I could see a hint of pleading. I laughed in my heart. How could that be? When has Haley ever pleaded with me? I've always been the one begging between us. But now it's different. I looked at her coldly. Disgusted, and said, if you're not with Tony, what are you doing here with me? Haley was burned by the look in my eyes. She lowered her head hastily. Rocky, let's talk. I'm about to close the door. I have nothing to say to you. Let's just call it quits. Isn't that what you always wanted? Haley's blocking the door. She's pleading that it's not going to take much longer. We've been together for 2 years. Even if you want to break it up, you've got to make it clear. I thought about it. The end of this relationship needs an explanation, not for me now. It's for the man who used to be alone at night. My heart ached so much that I couldn't breathe until I was numb. I opened the door. I let Haley in. Haley looked like she'd been drinking. She smelled like alcohol. She's stumbling a little. She sat down on the couch. She rubbed her red eyes. Her voice was horror, as if she'd been crying. Rocky, you've been gone the last few days. I realized I really can't let go of you. I'm willing to make it up to you. She raised her head. Her eyes were red. Can you give me another chance? She looked sad, like she's the one who's been hurt, as if she was the one who was hurt all along. I felt a surge of anger in my heart for no reason. How could she appear as a victim? She's the one who's been hurt all along. I mocked. Haley, have you been burned out of your mind? You don't remember what you said to Tony on the balcony? Haley looked up sharply. I held up the diary. I repeated it word for word. I stayed with him despite you. So one, you don't even want me anymore. There are tons of other people who want to be with me. And now Tony's in trouble with you, and you need me to be the one who's trying to get in the way to play ball with Tony. Haley was shocked. She heard me sneer. You're so loud, even the deaf can hear you. Tony went abroad and left you here like a dog. You're not happy about it, so you came to me to piss him off. Am I too good a tool? I'm begging you. Haley looked at me steadily. She said with hate, I have no grudge against you. I've been devoted to you for the last 2 years. What do you have against me? Why do you have to torment me again and again? Can't someone else do it? The pain in Haley's eyes surged up layer by layer. Her face turned pale. All the color drained from her face in an instant. It's not like that. I'm not trying to gamble with you. I was. She couldn't go on. She held her head in pain. Yes, in the beginning I was gambling with Tony to be with you. I admit it. But in the past few days when you were away, I suddenly realized I hadn't thought about Tony once. All I could think about was you. I couldn't eat or sleep. I couldn't open or close my eyes without seeing your face. I guess I'm just unhappy with Tony. That's why it became an obsession. Now I realize my own heart. I do like you. She looked up with pleading eyes. If it were before, I'd have heard her say that I'd have gone crazy with joy. I remember it in my diary. When I couldn't hold out any longer, I would fantasize to myself. One day Haley would really fall in love with me, and when she does, I'm going to make her fall in love with me, kneel in front of me and beg. But when that day came, but I've forgotten all about it. I don't feel anything in my heart. I just feel ridiculous. Late love is cheaper than grass. If a simple word like that can erase all those hurts, then what about those late nights when my heart ached so much I couldn't breathe? What does that mean? I looked at her and I whispered, Haley, so what? She stared. I went on to say, I've seen my heart and I'm going to come back to you with my ass on the line. I'm not the one you need to apologize to. I stood up. I looked her in the eye. And I said, the Rocky who loves you died the night you left him alone because of Tony. Hay shook. There was a flash of unbearable pain in her eyes. I pointed to the door and said, go. Haley left in a state of shock. It was as if someone had taken her soul and all that was left was an empty shell. And now I'm out. It's all about what you can't have, what you can't have. How much did she love Tony? I used to think she really loved Tony. Now I don't know if she really loves Tony that much. She could have taken this opportunity to be with Tony. In my opinion, her feelings for Tony are the same as what she said. She's just a person who's used to being chased. The first time she was dumped, her resentment turned into an obsession. Even this obsession is less important than her self-respect. She never bowed down to Tony to win him back. And me, she's just used to being with me. And it's only when I'm gone that she feels uncomfortable. I opened the curtains and found that Haley hadn't left. She was still standing under a sycamore tree below my house. Her jacket was blowing in the wind and the hem was flapping. She lost a lot of weight standing there. She looked a little lonely. The wind outside is getting stronger and stronger. The sound of rain pounding on the windows. It was raining. But Haley hadn't left yet. The rain got heavier very quickly. It was like she couldn't feel it. She just stood there and didn't move, letting the rain soak her through. The night was getting darker. There was hardly anyone around under the dim street light. She was the only one who seemed to be pinned there. I got a text message on my cell phone out of the blue. It was from Haley. If I eat all the pain you've suffered, will you forgive me once? I stood by and watched. She stood in the rain and drew the curtains. What's the point of acting like this now? What's the point? It doesn't hurt me one bit less. Once I was afraid she'd get caught in the rain. I'd walk across the city in the pouring rain to bring her an umbrella. Now I watch her get drenched in the rain, but I don't feel anything anymore. I just feel that the heavens have a way of coming back to me. The heavens have spared no one. I didn't think Tony would come to me. I got a message from Tony. When I got Tony's message that he wanted to talk to me, I didn't care. I didn't want anything to do with this man, so I didn't answer him. Who knows where he got my address? He blocked me when I was walking downstairs. I looked at the man in front of me in a suit standing there with his head held high. He was a very handsome man. I began to understand why Haley was so upset with him. To put it bluntly, Tony and Haley are actually the same kind of people. They're destined to be superior. Both in terms of family and ability. They're used to being chased and they're used to being proud. Maybe the attraction between him and Haley is a kindred spirit. You must be Rocky. I'm Tony. Tony held out his white hand, slightly raised his head. His face was cold. I frowned and didn't reach out. I have a natural aversion to this man. Although my memories of him have completely disappeared, but the subconscious hostility hadn't been erased. He and Haley were firing arrows. My heart was already full of holes. Even now that I've lost my memory, those old wounds have not yet healed. When I saw Tony again, my heart sank to the bottom. I pretended not to see him. I walked right past him. I didn't like Tony, not just because he's Haley's knight in shining armor. It's because he knew that Haley had a boyfriend. He knew that Haley had a boyfriend, and he had no qualms about sticking his nose in my business. People like that are always self-centered, never caring if they hurt or not hurting others. Not only do they have no moral compass, they're selfish. Tony's behind me. Wait, about Haley, I want to talk to you. I looked back at him coldly. I've lost my memory. Take Haley, if you like. I have nothing to say to you. Tony rubbed his forehead. The corners of his mouth curled up. I don't think you want to be mobbed here. I just want to talk to you. Then I'll leave. I won't pester you. I'm a bit annoyed, but I'm also afraid that if I don't talk to him, he'll keep coming back. Honestly, him and Haley, I really don't want to see them again. There's a cafe over there, I'm getting impatient, I'll give you 20 minutes, and when you're done don't ever come back to me again. Sitting in the cafe, Tony stirred his coffee with a small spoon. I didn't like his attitude. Tony always gave me the feeling that he was above me, just like Haley used to be. You know all about me and Haley, I'm sure you know all about it. Tony's chin is up. Haley and I were together for less time than you guys, just about a year. Did she ever so enough confess her love for you? Of course not. I chased Haley for months. She only agreed to be with me. She didn't even give me the word, she just nodded. Tony didn't seem to need an answer. He said Haley was a pain in the ass. She wouldn't stop until she got what she wanted. She was after me for 6 months. I went to class. She sat next to me. She followed me after school. When we won the championship, she ran right up to me and kissed me. It was so publicized that she wanted me to be with her. The Haley in Tony's mouth, I felt so strange. Haley was always a bit cold in front of me. Haley always seemed a little cold to me. Haley never acknowledged my existence outside. She never sent me a circle of friends. Never introduced me to her friends. Never kissed me outside. I always thought she was naturally aloof. But she can be passionate too. I'd already forgotten about her. But when Tony said that, I couldn't help but think of Haley. I couldn't help but think of Haley. She was so cool and cool. She kissed the guy she liked in public on the field. I felt a slight tingle in my heart. It felt strange and familiar. Tony smiled slightly, as if he was mocking me as a third-rate supporting role in their fairy tale romance. A third-rate supporting role in their fairy tale romance, that's how she is. She never cares about shame. If you like something, you have to get it. Then I left the country. I heard she locked herself in her room at home for 3 days and nights. She didn't take in a drop of water until she fainted. She was sent straight to the hospital. He sighed, dropped his eyelids. Haley was such a proud person who would never bow down to me. She'd just find some other way to piss me off. I'm sorry you had to suffer. I listened to his seemingly compassionate but secretly disdainful words, and the corners of my mouth lifted into a smile. She's never bowed down to anyone. Yesterday she came to beg me to forgive her. She stood in the rain all night. I pretended to be surprised. You didn't know. Tony looked up sharply. His face changed instantly. I looked at his shocked expression, smiled, and took a sip of coffee. It seems you don't know Haley that well. That's right, after all the years you've been apart. Tony's fingers gripped the coffee cup. Tony's fingers are gripping the coffee cup so hard they're turning a blue-white color. He's barely keeping his face light. I'm not here to argue with you. Since you don't remember, hey, you don't have to keep pestering her, do you? Your start was a mistake. It's time to put her back on track. I sneer. What's the point of telling me that? Haley's the one who's pestering me. I'm not pestering her. If you can let Haley come back to you, if you don't stay put, I can't stand this man anymore. Whether it's before or after he lost his memory, he's always had this reckless attitude to hurt others at will. Tony, are you addicted to meddling? I stood up, looking down at him. I sneered and said. All the eyes in the cafe came together. They looked at us in amazement. A young couple next to us had a look on their faces, whispering excitedly. The third party came to negotiate with the original partner. Right, damn, so shameless. Tony's face was blue. He gritted his teeth and barely said, what are you talking about, you crazy, is noted. I ignored him, turned around and walked away. Since you want me to come, you'll have to pay for it yourself. I was walking in front of him. Tony was still chasing after me. I guess he's afraid that I'll say something shocking on the street again. He didn't dare to come near me. He's just following me closely. Looks like he's planning to wait for me to enter the building, then he'll talk to me again. I was so annoyed I was about to turn around and talk to him. From afar, I suddenly saw someone standing under a tree downstairs. Haley. This is great, all three of us are here. Haley saw me from afar. She put a smile on her face and was about to wave to me. Then she noticed Tony behind me. Her smile disappeared and her hand froze in midair. Haley immediately strides towards me. Tony saw Haley too. His face went pale for a moment, then he immediately returned to his natural self. He smiled and said hello to Haley. What a coincidence. Haley stood in front of him with a frown on her face. What are you doing here? What did you say to Rocky? Tony couldn't keep the smile off his face. He barely managed to say. He didn't say anything, just some casual conversation. Haley's tone of voice, she's got a lot of anger in her voice. I told you to stay away from Rocky. What the hell do you mean? I'm just going to sit back and watch. That's a new one. Haley used to say that to me all the time. She warned me repeatedly that I wasn't allowed to go to Tony, and I did listen to her. I never went to her. And now she's warning me about Tony. The tide has turned. The three of us have switched roles. Tony probably felt like he was being scolded in front of me. Being yelled at by Haley in front of me. Her face fell and looked at Haley with a tone of voice that was not kind. Haley, what do you mean? You're the one who pestered me in the first place. And now you're telling me to get lost. What do you take me for? I put my arms around my chest. I just stood there and watched. Haley took one look at me, she lowered her voice and said, "Don't make a scene here, I won't look for you anymore, we broke up a long time ago." Tony clenched his fists. "You said forget it, then what?" He turned his head, he stared at me, he blurted out that when Haley was with you, she contacted me every night. "Do you know what she told me?" Tony's mouth curved with malice, he was reminiscing with me about the past, said, "He hated me for dumping her, that she only stayed with you to gamble with me." "That's enough," Haley interrupted him in a loud voice, there was anger in her eyes that she couldn't suppress. "Have you had enough? I'm not done." Tony's voice is louder, Haley's voice trembled, her eyes began to redden. "Haley, you're the one who started this, you're the one who comes after me every time, and now you're letting me go so easily. You don't have a heart." It's getting dark, autumn nights are getting cooler, there are only a few people around. The warm yellow street light was on. Tony's eyes flashed with water. He looked at the red eyes. Haley choked out a sob. "Didn't you tell me that you were only with him to piss me off? Now I'm back, why are you still looking for him?" Haley was speechless. After a long time she spoke in a muffled voice, "I'm sorry for what I did to you. I was just unhappy with you, I thought it was love, now I realize I've always loved Rocky. I'm just upset that you're leaving, but he's leaving now." Haley touched her heart in a dazed dry, said, "I can't stand the pain here, it's like a piece of me has been ripped out. Now I know what love is, I can't live without Rocky." She glanced at Tony, "Let's call it quits, we've been over it for a long time." Tony raised his eyes sharply, I saw a tear fall from his eye. He looked at Haley with hate in his eyes. After a moment he spoke in a shaky voice, he spoke with hatred for Haley. "You've always been like this, why do you think I left the country in the first place? I don't feel any love for you, you just think I'm the only one who's good enough for you. You're just in the habit of going for the best from the beginning to the end, you never loved me at all." Tears were falling down her face, but she refused to wipe them away, she just looked at Haley and said in despair, "Don't even know what love is, and you don't deserve to be loved. Rocky doesn't even remember you now, that's what you deserve." And with that he took one last look at Haley, turned around and staggered away. His thin back was desolate and lonely. The atmosphere froze for a moment. Haley smiled bitterly, walked to me, she whispered, "Tony's right, I deserved it, this is what I deserve. Even though I hate this woman in my heart, but when I saw this woman who used to be so energetic, she looks like a different person. I couldn't help but feel sorry for her. But that's all, I didn't say another word, I turned my head and walked away. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, my hair was blowing all over the place. Suddenly I felt a little annoyed behind me. Haley's voice fell into the night. "Rocky, I'm willing to atone for my sins, I beg you to open your eyes." As far as I can remember, Haley had never begged before. Begging is not in her vocabulary. She's always been proud, she's so proud she's almost conceited. Why would she ask me? I stopped in my tracks, I was about to say something. "Rocky," I was tackled from behind with a loud thud. I hit the curb hard, my eyes went black, I was dizzy. I turned around anxiously but found behind me where I was standing a flower pot shattered on the ground underneath. Haley's head, under Haley's head, a small pool of bright red blood slowly gathered. She was lying on the side of the road with her eyes closed, she wasn't responding at all. The flower pot was blown down by the wind, it was supposed to hit me. Haley pushed me out of the way, but it hit her on the head. My mind went blank, tears came to my eyes, bewildered and anxious. I went over and pushed Haley. "Hey Haley." Haley did not move at all, no response. I scrambled to take out my cell phone, my fingers were shaking like crazy, it took a long time to get through to the emergency number. I couldn't stop the tears from falling, someone was knocked unconscious, there's a head wound, send an ambulance. The ambulance came quickly, it was downstairs in less than 10 minutes, 2 doctors in white coats. They quickly put Haley in the car, I went with them, I sat next to her inside the ambulance. The white light, Haley's face was bloodless, her lips were pale from their usual redness, her head was still bleeding, her long hair was clumped together, her forehead was closed with blood, her eyes were closed, unconscious. At this moment I felt a tearing pain in my heart that I hadn't felt for a long time. The memories are gone, but loving this woman has become a habit, it's engraved in my bones and blood. Once a hole is torn open, those long-lost feelings spread out in a dense mass. My eyes were already blurry, I watched Haley being carried off the bus straight into the operating room. This is the moment I realized that memories can be forgotten, but you can't forget love. The 3 hours outside the operating room, it was almost like a year, I felt like my mind was a mess, it's a mess, but then there was nothing, it was blank. All I could do was look at the red light outside the operating room, staring in a daze. In an instant memories of the past passed through my mind in an endless stream. I tried to grab them, but I couldn't. In the end, the flood of memories all converged into one face, Hi's face. By the time I got back from paying the bill, Haley was already in the hospital room. Her face was pale, her lips were slightly chapped, she had lost a lot of weight in the past few days and the hospital gown was empty, she looked like a stranger. I sat next to her, my eyes ached hey just when I was shedding tears. Haley's weak voice rang out. Her head was wrapped tightly in GS. She looked so miserable, but her eyes were full of laughter. Why are you crying? I said I'm happy to do what you want. Haley closed her eyes. She rested for a moment, then she opened them again. Her voice was so weak I could barely hear her. Rocky, will you forgive me? She looked like she was about to die. I panicked for a moment. I wanted to say yes, but I don't know why I couldn't get the words forgive out of my mouth. Haley lifted her eyelids and looked at me. There was a hint of disappointment in her eyes. I was about to say something. The doctor came from behind. He said, "You're a family member, aren't you? The patient is fine." The flower pot just grazed his skin. I had a CT scan of his brain. I've had a look. There's no effect, but he might have a concussion. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I was shocked. I'm fine. The doctor gave me a look. Why was he so disappointed? I was so dumb. I waved my hands. No, I'm just me. I'm looking at Haley in the hospital bed. She's faking sleep, but the corners of her mouth keep rising. Eyelashes fluttering. Lied to all those tears were for nothing. I'm cold. Okay, I got it. After the doctor left, Haley dared to open her eyes. She smiled and took my hand. I was wrong. She lowered her head, smiling bitterly. You haven't worried about me like this for a long time. My heart trembled for no reason at all. I remembered those nights of tossing and turning again, subconsciously shook off her hand. Haley has no relatives here. I took care of her for the few days she was hospitalized. Tony came by once. I don't know what he said to Haley. I only saw him give me a complicated look. When he came out, he gave me a complicated look. His eyes were red. I didn't say anything. I walked into the hospital room. Haley was sitting on the bed looking out the window. When she saw me come in, her eyes lit up slightly and she said, "Rocky, you're finally here." I sat down in the chair next to her bed. I didn't know what to say. Haley tried. I've just made it clear to Tony that he won't be coming back for me. I gave her a look. I didn't say anything. Haley continued, "I've been doing a lot of thinking these past few days. It's strange. I've been hit in the head. It's clearer." She laughed a little. "In fact, Tony can see it better than I can all along. Maybe I never loved him. I'm just used to getting the best. Everyone's in love, then I want the prettiest. I'm gonna find the prettiest guy I can find. Actually, when we were together, I just thought that's the way it should be. I've never been more attached to you than I am right now." Haley was in a hospital gown, sitting on the bed with her head down. She's rarely been this vulnerable. It's like she's cutting her heart out, as if she was cutting her heart out completely for me to see. But then Tony left the country. In fact, I was more upset than anything else. I've never been dumped before. I felt so humiliated. She laughed bitterly, but now she thinks it's really stupid. I could never recognize my own feelings. Even you left me. I realized I've always liked you. I'm speechless. You've already recovered your memory, right? Haley's smile was bitter. I gave her a look. We've been in bed together for 2 years. We know each other better than we know ourselves. She can tell I'm not surprised. When did you know? Haley pulled at the corner of her mouth. In the ambulance, there was a hint of longing in her eyes. Wanted to smile, but she couldn't. In the end, she could only say that the way you look at me are the same as before. My heart aches. I was silent. Haley tilted her head up. She tilted her head up and pulled out a small smile, but that smile felt forced. You still love me, don't you? I looked at her and said, yes. When memories come back, love also comes back. I don't want to love this woman. Loving her hurt me all over, and yet I'm stuck in it. I couldn't help it. There was a sparkle in Haley's eyes, and then it faded. But you won't forgive me, right? I thought about it. I stood up and walked to the window. The leaves were yellowing outside. The leaves had yellowed and spread thickly on the ground. I looked at the bare branches. Suddenly, for no reason at all, I remember that story. The child in the hospital bed said, when the last leaf falls from the tree's life comes to an end. Now Haley is alive and well, but something is dead. Our feelings are dead, and you can't resurrect something that's dead. I turned my back on Haley and spoke softly. Yes, I remember. I still love you, but I won't forgive you. I was blinded by my feelings, and then I realized how I was. Love is not the only thing in life, and love, it's not worth trampling on my dignity. Turn around, look at Haley. Seriously, Haley, if you miss it, you miss it. Mistakes can be fixed, but you can't turn back the clock. I can't pretend it never happened. If I'm with you again, I'd probably think about it every day, how you left me homesick. For Tony's words, leaving me homesick. I'll always have this thorn in my side. I won't be happy for the rest of my life. If I forgive you, I'd go over to her and hold her hand. I'll be so calm, I won't be able to forgive myself. I've had enough pain. This is the first time since we broke up. It was the first time since we broke up that we'd had such an honest conversation. We both cut ourselves open to each other. Haley's eyes were red. She seemed overwhelmed by my words. She held my hand in hers, choking back sobs and pleading that I really won't, just this once, okay? She suddenly broke down and buried her head in my hand. She cried out in pain. Her whole body was trembling uncontrollably. I was wrong. I was really wrong. Please, I'm begging you. Hot tears fell on my hands. My heart trembled. I'm sorry. I used to love you more than myself, but now I think I should love myself first. Haley's body collapsed inch by inch. She was choking back sobs, holding my hand and crying. This woman who was always so proud and cool seemed to have her back finally bent. She took out her most precious dignity, but it was too late. There's no going back. I wiped the tears from my eyes, I wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes and hugged her one last time. You'll meet someone you love again, I hope you won't miss it next time. With those words I stood up with a strong grip, I didn't dare to look back, I walked out of the hospital room. Behind me Haley's crying voice was almost overflowing with pain, her voice was hoarse, cried out, "Rocky, I can't live without you." I took one last look at her, she was wrapped in an empty hospital gown, the table eyes were woefully teary like a stray dog that's been thrown away just as I was thrown away by her. I turned around and left the hospital room. I never saw Haley again, she never appeared in front of me again. But I always felt like she was there for me. At first it hurt like hell, I got used to it. I used to think that without Haley I couldn't live without Haley. After all this I realized that without her I seemed to be doing just fine. Without her I fell in love twice more, but things always went wrong. They both broke up. When it came to the third time we finally got married. This woman wasn't as cool and proud as Haley. But she always put me first. Her cell phone password is our anniversary, I could always look at it. She's never had a relationship with another man. She surprises me on my birthday. She'd tell me before bedtime what interesting things happened today. As time went on I became more and more unfamiliar with Haley. Even the times I think of her are getting less and less. Sometimes I think of her face, I really don't feel anything at all. It's like a lifetime ago, the pain has faded. I know I finally let go. Time is the best and cruelest medicine. No matter how hard the love is engraved. The pain that keeps me up at night will eventually fade away. The night before the wedding I received a text message. If she treats you badly, come to me, I'll always be waiting for you. And then seems to think this one is a bit of a curse. Sent you another one to wish you happiness. It was an unfamiliar cell phone number, but I knew immediately who it was from. I was lost in thought. My wife came over to me. What are you looking at? You're so absorbed. I deleted the message in a flash. I smiled and jumped on her. It's nothing, it's just a nuisance text. Haley's got a dog that's all about her, with her in her heart. But a scarred lick spittle will always find the one who's devoted to him. End of story.